Hi everyone, so I picked up this little puppet from a little vintage shop not so long back, and I want to give him a spooky makeover. He's cute, but he needs a spooky makeover. So I'm just going to use a little bit of sandpaper. If I can. I don't know if this is going to come up. Oh yeah, it is. The sandpaper I've got is for my sander I normally use, but this is too small, so I'm using a little piece of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep sanding this, and then I'll come back once I've sanded off the face. Okay, so once the whole face was sanded off, I've then drawn in pencil a rough design for the face. And the first thing to do was to paint the teeth. I didn't want to paint like the whole base of it one colour or anything, because I want the colours to stand out as they are directly painted onto the wood. Because if I painted the whole thing white or anything, it's going to affect how everything turns out. So you'll see, first of all, I paint the details on, and then I fill in the rest of the face with white later on, because I don't want it to affect the depth of the red or anything like that. I painted the teeth white first of all, and then I painted the whites of the eyes. I'm not doing a pupil on the eye because I think it looks creepier without, so I'm not going to do that, but I'm just going to paint a little bit of white for the whites of the eyes, which I'll shade later on, and obviously the teeth. And then you'll see I get a black acrylic paint, again using my tiny brush, which is a 03, and then I'm going to take some black and go around the outlines that I need, so like the outer edge of the mouth, and the outer edge of the eyes. And I'm also going to use the black to fill in the mouth between the teeth, because that'll add a bit of depth to the mouth and make it look like the teeth are inside a mouth as opposed to just painted on the front. Just adds depth to the mouth, especially when I put some shading on the teeth later on. So I went around the edges first and then just filled in the areas inside. And just take your time with this. It is a bit fiddly. This is the smallest. This is smaller than doing a Bratz doll. It's not quite the size of a Barbie doll. It's bigger than a Barbie doll head, which I hate painting. But it's a bit smaller than a Bratz doll head, because the head's basically made out of a giant wooden bead. You can see compared to my thumb and everything how big it is. Then I go around the edge of the eye. And he's starting to get his little expression. And then the next thing I need to do is take the red and put my sort of triangular pointy sections above and below the eyes in. Again, I'm painting these first before I do the main colour for the face, because I don't want the red to be affected by the paint underneath it. I want it to show up nice and solid and deep red like it is. I made them quite long at the top, so that they would go right up to underneath the hat. At first I was going to do like a It style one where the red goes through the eyes and then curls around and joins onto the mouth, but I changed my mind and just did it this way instead. And then once I painted on the red around the eyes, I then went round everything in white to just keep the edges nice and neat. and then I'll fill in the rest of the face with the white. I wanted the face to be white so it would stand out and look a bit strange, because I think clown makeup looks weird anyway. And I'll add a bit of shading and everything to give it a bit more of a bit more depth and a bit more of an effect later on. But this is just so I don't lose the detail when I do the face colour, and I'll switch to a slightly larger brush to do the rest of the face filling. And then obviously if there's any areas that I've accidentally gone over with the white, I'll touch them up later on with some more black or red. So here I'm going through. As you can see, the brush is a bit battered, so I couldn't do this for like detail work or anything, but it's alright for filling in larger areas on small projects. So I'm just painting his face white. It took it's like 3 coats in the end to get it nice and streak free and nice, you know, matte colour to the face. And the red of the eyes I did 2 coats on. And then once he was dry, and I did a bit of shading with some grey, just very, very watered down and dabbed on and wiped off with my finger around the edges to add a bit of shading. I used the grey to shade the his teeth to make it look like they're behind the lips, although he's got no lips, but you know what I mean. And added the medium highlight to the eye. Later on I add the white one, I just forgot here, and I added a bit of grey by the red and under the eyes, just to add a little bit of shading as well. And I did a bit of grey, just a line of it around the bottom edge of the mouth, again just to add a bit of shading. Here what I'm doing now, which unfortunately I didn't realise was off camera, is I'm just using some paint water. Basically this is just the water out of my little container with some black paint in it, and I'm just using that to dirty up and gunge up his little outfit, the little neck ruffle, and I also do the same for his hat. Just make him look a bit more grungy and grimy. Can't believe how much of this is out of shot. Goodness me, I thought this was in shot. Anyway, that's all I'm doing, is just using paint water and dabbing it on, as you can see, like on the hand, just to make his outfit dirty, because I want him to look like he's been like living in a basement or crawling around in tunnels and things to find his victims. And I'm just touching up the ruffly bit, and then any areas where the paint seems to have sort of accumulated, I just use more water just to blend that out. And because it's fabric, you put plenty of water on, it'll sort of run and ooze through anyway. And when he was finished, he looked like this. And yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.